we have Sofia LJ presenting. And first, her mentor, Ira, will introduce her.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce my mentee, Sofia LJ. I hope I pronounced it correctly. To you, she is a sixth grader here. And by a certain set of events, she became my mentee at the end of March. And then, so we have had like 5 weeks, and she actually worked on a new project. She wanted to learn Python. She's a sixth grader. She didn't know Python. She wanted to learn Python, and she wanted to do a game in it based on one of her favorite games. She has done a phenomenal job in 5 weeks, and you'll see a result of that when she presents. But it takes a village, and the entire village chipped in to make sure that Sofia was successful. Her parents made sure that she was there for all the extra meetings we had to have for her to get to where she was. Maria gave us her room to meet whenever I came to meet her on campus. Alberto expediently made sure she had the right Python and the right Pygame installed on the computer, and Alice was there supporting it all through. So thank you very much to all of you for helping me get, Sofia to this point. Sofia, I'm very proud of you, and I hope you do wonders. And I'll be at the sidelines watching. With that, I present to you.
My name is Sofia LJ, and I'm a sixth grader at the girls' middle school. Shani, she was my first mentor. We switched mentors because she had to go to India at the end of March. Next slide, please. Eva, she's a current mentor right now. She likes to listen to music and read. She loves math. She's the founder of Magic, and she has a daughter who is in GMS album, and she was a mentee, and she's now a mentee. Next slide, please. Collided. My project is a game in Python using Pygame. There's a player and an obstacle. The goal for the player is to collide with the obstacle as many times as possible in a given time. I built the game from scratch based on the game I really like. It's called Stack Build.
Please speak a little louder.
Python. I learned Python from using Code Academy. I learned, those are all the examples. Some of the really important things I learned that I use in my game were loops, for example, for a while, or list. That's an example of strawberry, kiwi, watermelon, pineapple, right? And also variables, right there at the top it says Sophia's underscore Pygame. Pygame is a software module that lets you create videos. I learned Pygame by the help of my mentor and also by watching YouTube videos. Next slide, please. In Pygame, I learned how to import libraries, how to create characters, like color them, position them, and size them, how to move characters by using your keyboard, color coding, also known as RGB, and how to put my theme, and there are also more examples. Next slide, please. So here are some examples of the code. The first one in code, you can see that it says screen width, screen height. That's a variable. It's basically telling the computer to set the screen to a specific size. And the code below, you're gonna see that it says random.randit. That's 0.800. That's basically telling the computer to put the player in an x-axis, anywhere in the x-axis between 0 and 800. Same for the house space. Next slide, please. Here are some more examples of my code. At the top left, you can see that there's two variables called message and mismessage. So whenever the player collides with the house space, it's going to add a point to game score and miss score. And on the right, you're going to see my code. It's basically the code on the arrow key so the player can move. Next slide, please. Here is the most important part of my code, because that piece of code is basically telling the computer when the player collides with the house base, it's gonna add a point it's going to move the house base and the player to a random position between the x-axis of 0 and 800. Next slide, please. My magical experience. Some highlights that I had was that I got to work on something that I enjoy. I learned about elementary projects and I learned about programming language. Some lessons that I learned were that there are parts of the project that would be hard and hard to
Excuse me. Can people on Zoom please put yourselves on mute because it's interrupting our presentation? Thank you.
and that you have to be very committed to succeed. And some challenges that I faced were understanding Python and figuring out bugs in my code. Next slide, please. This is my demo. Right there is my code. And then right now I'm going, this is mentee. At the top you can see that it says game score and miss score, and the player can move left, right, up, and down by using the arrow keys. And right here, I'm gonna miss, so it's gonna add 1 point to the miss score. And right here, I'm gonna collide with the house base, so it's gonna add 1 point to the game score. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Amazing presentation, Sophia. What questions or comments do we have?
I have lots of questions.
Yeah.
Because I find it so interesting. So, my kids and I love to play games, and they started imagining, like, making up new games. When you're coding a game, how much of it are you planning out ahead on paper or kind of storyboarding, and how much of it are you learning what's possible in the code and just being like, oh, I'll figure out how to apply that? Like, is it gameplay first and then code, or learn the code and apply it to the game, or a little bit of both?
Well, it's like a little bit of both, because first you have to come up with an idea that you think you want to use, and then you have to like figure out like the code that you're gonna use in your game. Thank you.
I have a question. How did you decide Pygame or Python as a game thing? Was that something you
I was interested in learning Python because I just thought it was like really interesting to learn about, and like Pygame is like really like it's really good like software that you can use in Python. So that's like the software that I choose.
Wonderful. Does anyone in our virtual audience have any questions?
I just had a question and then a comment. Is it true that you really did all of this in 5 weeks? Like you started?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is just incredible that you did all of that. So congratulations.